Hey girl.
Hi, darling.
Hello, everyone. It is actually a month and a week, right? We said that we would show up once a month.
Yeah,
We said that we are not going to overthink it.
nope.
So we did attempt a month, and so we're delayed by a week, but here we are following through on what we said that we were going to do.
Mhm.
I am Darlene, and this is my buddy, my partner, my girl, Leslie Rivera, two nurses
Mhm.
that are just looking to continue to grow, right, and enjoy life and do all the wonderful things, and just sharing with everyone the realities of what it looks and feels like when you're going through personal and professional growth, and that it could be so much fun and it can also be very challenging, right? So our first episode, what did we talk about our first episode, Leslie? Because it feels like it was so long ago.
So we really introduced ourselves, right? And what brought us onto this podcast, what made us decide to come on here and discuss the topics that we're discussing. We shared a little bit about ourselves and what the title of the podcast even meant, right? Don't Look
Correct.
Down podcast.
Look down.
And you shared your experience on that what was it, the zip line? Yeah,
Yes.
and you
Going
used
up.
that, yep,
Yeah.
as an analogy. So we discussed that. And I mean, if anyone that would like more details on the first podcast, it will be there for
Yes.
you to enjoy. But so yeah, that was our first, and we it was a long time coming. We talked about it
Yes.
for a very long time, and we discussed it much, on several occasions, and we planned it out and we discussed it some more. and,
I
and then
know.
we finally decided that it's not it was less about being perfect and more
Yeah.
about being present
Yes.
and sharing our truth and sharing our experiences and hoping that it might even help somebody else,
Most
um,
definitely.
that information. So yeah, that was more or less what the first one was about.
Most definitely. And then so today we're going to continue sharing both of our journeys. We're both so very busy.
Mm,
And so with the busyness, I think that there's a lot of, ups and downs. And I feel like there's a lot more ups than there are downs. And sometimes I think, in my opinion, that the downs look like those moments when I said I was going up the zip line platform and you kind of pause and you look around like, oh my gosh, you take a deep breath because you're like, what am I
mhm,
doing? Why did
mm,
I sign up for all of this? Where you kind of
mm,
just start second guessing things, not because it's not right or aligned, but just because stress, right? Like we end up being faced with so much stress. So today's topic is about being obedient over being or feeling comfortable
mm,
and being able to move forward when it doesn't feel amazing and good and all the things,
mhm.
right? And so I don't know, Leslie, with right now with all that you're juggling with school and just life in general, what is it looking like for you right now with being able to move through all of it?
I do have the moments where I'm overly exhausted
Yeah.
by everything that we are responsible for as single parents, right?
Yes.
and and the primary providers in the home, head of household. We have to work, we have to provide financially, we have to tend to the home. We have to make sure everybody's eating.
Yeah.
We have to make sure we're caring for ourselves, right? Somehow in the mix. And actually, that should be. I know I've learned along the way that should be always be a priority, because if I'm
Definitely.
not well,
Oh yeah.
everything else is going down.
Yep.
So even though I do have moments because of the exhaustion that comes from having to tend to all these things, um, I I find that it's a different experience when, I'm not saying you don't get tired, because you do, but when you're in your purpose and you
Oh
have
my God.
clarity in your vision,
Mhm.
and where
Yeah.
you're going and what
Yes.
you're doing, and
Yeah.
the levels that you're helping and contributing to society, to other people's lives, to the
Yeah.
world. Like when there's purpose and you're on
Yes.
the right path, the exhaustion is different. Like you could
Different.
still keep going,
Yeah.
and
I
it's
definitely
tired.
actually agree.
Yes, I'm sorry. Yes, but
No,
it
no,
is
go ahead.
different. It's different. It's a different experience. It drives you. It pushes you, and not
Mhm.
because you have to, but because you want to. Like
Yeah.
there's a natural desire to keep
Yeah.
going.
Yeah.
And you get strength from, and I know like my strength comes from, it's not me. Like it's again is my purpose. Again, it's the path that he put me on.
Yeah.
And I have a whole, there's a story that I'll share on a podcast one day about how I came to find myself on this path. But yeah, like it does, I feel that balance, I'm not really certain if that exists in my life because
Isn't
I'm,
it? It's like a funny word,
yes,
balance. I have a hard time with it sometimes because like balance means that it's like this, right? Like there's no this.
yes, yes, yes,
So I always look at it as like I don't know that it's necessarily balance, but like it's like a list of
mm-hmm,
priorities
mm-hmm,
and they just shuffle. And I
mm-hmm,
have a top three. That's my survival. I have a top
mm-hmm.
three, and that always interchanges. So
Yes, yes,
for this day, one, two, and three might be different tomorrow, and that's
yes,
okay. Like
yes.
that. So I don't know. Is that balance?
I believe that. I mean, you got it perfectly, Darlene. I agree with you 100%. Like I feel like the idea that people have when they refer to balance in life is not necessarily
No,
accurate.
no,
And I've listened to so many speakers on the topic, and they've said that they've spoken on the fact that balance in life is non-existent. It's something that you cannot achieve because it's only natural that whatever it is that you're focusing on that is priority for you in
correct,
the moment of your life is going to have your attention more than
correct.
any other
Anything,
category of your life.
correct. Yep.
So it's like you said, you got to shuffle it
Yeah,
around.
shuffle it, and you know
Yes,
what? And it's like I realize that this is like the growth through the years,
yes,
like you mentioned, like being a single mom and juggling all the things,
yes,
and priority being a mom,
mm,
right? And then like having mommy guilt. I used to suffer from that
yes.
so bad.
Ooh,
And then I learned like, you know what? Just because something in a moment is getting more attention, it doesn't mean that I'm a bad mother. Like I had to
yes,
really sit with that. Like that doesn't
yes,
make me a bad mom. It just means that
yes,
in this moment, that moment could be for an hour or
yes,
two.
yes,
It doesn't mean that I'm neglectful at
yes,
all. And when I do give my attention to my child, my son, when I give
yes,
him all this attention for X amount of time, it doesn't mean that everything else that I'm building is also being neglected. It is
yes,
not.
yes,
It's going to be taken care of in the
yes,
time that it's supposed to be taken care of. Like, girl, when I
yes,
tell you, it took me years
mm,
to finally get to that place.
yes,
But it still
same.
doesn't mean that I don't face those moments of like, of stress, right?
Yes.
Because we always think that we have to do I don't know that it's not necessarily that I have to do everything, but it's
Mm,
more of I'm always concerned about in a specific amount of time. So if I
mhm,
said I was going to have, for example, prior to our call, I said that I had obligations
mm,
that I needed to do before Sunday. And
mhm,
so, if I have a goal for this evening, I'm telling myself, well, it needs to be done by 9. And it's kind of like, okay, well, if it's not,
mm,
can some of it continue tomorrow? Just being able to just do this, right? Just kind of ride the wave a little bit.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
It
And
gives
to
me
your point with the mommy guilt, like that hit, it resonates, and I can totally relate with that. And I've learned along the way as well that it's that quality is so much more important than quantity. And that's not to
Yes.
say, I mean, we have to be present,
Yes.
right? It's important for us to be there, obviously, and attend all the things
Yeah.
and do our best to be there
Yeah.
in those important times. But quality is of the utmost importance, and it's in the time that we spend with our children and
Yeah.
connect with them and listen to them and support
Correct.
them and love on them. And
Yeah.
when we're there, we're creating memories, those memories and that bond with them.
Yes,
And
most
that's more
definitely.
important than, maybe being under the same roof for more hours of the day, but
Yeah.
not really connecting with your children. And
Yeah.
so yeah, I've found that to be true as well, to be
Yeah.
more important than anything else. But I mean, and also when you have good communication with your family and
Definitely.
with your children, it goes a long way, right?
Yeah.
And just sharing with them your path and what your plans are and what the plans are for us, right?
Correct.
Because it impacts the entire family, it impacts your children as well. And if you share your vision with them, it may just get them just as excited as you um,
Definitely.
for what's to come. So yeah.
Definitely, definitely. Now, like just moving along on our journeys, like we're like building ourselves professionally and both personally.
Mm.
And have you lately been through anything that is giving you that moment of don't look down, where you look down and you're like, you're catching your breath, like, oh my gosh,
Mm.
any moments of feeling a little bit discomfort about anything of the path or just
I
questioning the future?
I'd say yes. Like there like for example, this particular clinical experience, I have never, before this clinical, I had never experienced what it was like to work with children um, in psych. And although this is where I want to work, and this was the goal, the end goal, to work with children and teens in trauma, I hadn't yet had that experience. So
Okay.
actually being in that experience and learning from the experience. Initially, I doubted myself because it was very different than working with adults. And
Yeah.
initially, I didn't know if I'd be able to connect with these children on the level that I connect with adults.
Mhm.
Like would they trust me?
Yeah.
um would they, would the communication be effective, what I'm trying to tell them? Would they feel safe with me?
Yeah.
And although I had been a school nurse for a year,
That's right.
that was a very different type of nursing. So and I did connect with the children there and had so much fun with them and learned so
Yeah.
much in that experience, but also very different, especially with inpatient psychiatry for children and adolescents. So, but I learned again, for a moment I looked down and I went, "Oh no, I'm not sure. I'm not sure if I should be up here. What if, right? What if
Yeah.
I'm
What were your what
not it?"
ifs?
Yes, the what ifs will scare you.
Yes.
Scare you
Yes.
away from jumping and just
Yeah.
gliding and having the
Yeah.
experience of a lifetime, right? Like it's
Yeah.
gonna scare you.
Yeah.
And the what ifs are valid, right? Like,
Yeah.
but that doesn't mean, it doesn't mean it's true. It's
Correct. I
your
was gonna
brain
say
is
that.
just trying to protect you, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Um,
Sometimes that
and
discomfort is really a cue to let you
yes,
know, like, everything's fine. You're just doing something
yes,
different that you
yes,
haven't experienced before. And then we look at it like, oh my God, this
yes,
must be wrong.
yes,
Or maybe I didn't prepare enough for this.
yes, yes, yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, absolutely. And then there are certain times too, and I think it's important to mention that sometimes even when you're in new spaces and you're learning new things and you're
Yes.
growing, and growing is always uncomfortable, right?
Yep.
Just because you're in a new space and you're not the expert in that space,
Yes,
it
girl.
doesn't mean that what you have to bring to that space isn't important.
that.
isn't
Mhm.
of value. And
Yeah,
just because somebody else wouldn't do it exactly how, or you're not doing it exactly how someone else would do it, doesn't mean that you're
exactly.
wrong.
Exactly.
And just
Yeah,
allowing yourself the space to express what it is that you need to express,
mhm.
in your own way. In your
Yeah.
own way.
'Cause you
Just
mentioned earlier about being, in purpose and walking in purpose,
yes.
right? And so when you know that you're doing, the thing or the things that are aligned in what you feel like God has for you or that the desires that you've had in your heart that's imprinted in there,
Mm,
there are those moments, right, where you just kinda like, "Oh my god, is this right? Is this right?" But the thing
yes,
that I'm realizing is what is making when that happens to me is the comfort of what's familiar. Because
yes,
sometimes something is familiar, but it doesn't mean it's the best,
yes,
right? You could be
yes,
familiar and be in that place, but it doesn't
yes.
mean that that's where you have to remain. And a
Yes.
lot of times we wanna just stay there even though we're ready to go. We know it's time to
Oof,
go. Like, "Oh, this is just I'm
oof,
done." But we're staying. Why? Because I know the
oof.
routine. Like, I know what's gonna happen, and I know, like, in some crazy way, it feels safe even though you've totally outgrown it.
I
So,
think we could write the book on that.
honey, I get that. I feel like right now I'm dealing with
Yes,
that, not
yes,
the professional part, yeah, like with the school, there are tons of moments where I go, "Why am I doing this?" But
yes.
more of like right now, the personal in my personal life is being a mom. I'm finding
Mhm.
myself, with my son about to graduate, he's going to be going to college, and I find myself kind of pausing, like, have I prepared him
Mm,
enough? Am I prepared? I've been like, mentally preparing for this
mm,
for a very long time, but am I really
mm,
ready to empty nest? I don't have a
mm,
choice, so I gotta, do it, and then I'm like, I'm gonna have these hobbies set up and these plans. But the main question that I'm truly asking, right, that I'm kind of, going up that platform and looking around, I
Yeah.
go, have I truly prepared this young
Mm,
man to launch?
mm,
So I've had to really sit with that and just, say basically the person that I see in him now
yeah,
is all the work, like everything that's been done and all the
mm,
support that I've had. And
yeah.
this is it. Not too bad. There's no such thing as perfect. And,
Yes,
hopefully, hopefully what's not really done is not going to be something that's very detrimental, but that,
yes, yes,
giving myself the props and giving myself grace as a mom to really be ready for this launch. Like this transition is definitely,
mm,
yeah, this one is major. It's
yeah,
major.
yeah,
So
yeah,
that's what's outweighing, my don't look down in this moment is in the parenthood.
yes, yes. And you mentioned comfort
Yes.
and how that might keep you from moving forward or making decisions that will help you in your growth.
Yeah,
And I read something once that said that comfort is the biggest killer of dreams.
definitely. And you and I know this.
Yes, yes, and
Oh,
it
it's so
feels so
true.
good.
Oh, it's so
It
true.
can be so deceiving, right? Like it just,
Oh,
oh
it's
no,
so
I just
true.
want to be here in this cozy little comfortable space
Yes. Yes.
because I know
Yep.
everything and everyone around me. I know what
Exactly.
to expect. I know what's coming tomorrow. I know what's
Yep.
behind me. I know what's in front of me, and I like it here.
Yeah. And as a
But then,
parent, if I actually moved in that space of comfort, right?
mm,
That's
mm,
something that is contagious, then I
mm,
will leak it onto my child who I
mm,
want him to live his best life,
mm,
whatever
mm,
that'll look like, of course, safely aligned with God, right? But
mm.
I want the best for him. And
Yeah.
so I have to be okay with being uncomfortable so that he can
Yes.
be, so that he can launch and do his
Yeah.
thing and whatever is, designed for his life.
Yeah.
I don't want him to get comfortable
Yeah.
and not make any moves. It's just we're just going to be going through transitions. It's just what it is. So
Yeah.
yeah,
And
you're right.
with our children too, like when they're handed to us as babies, right after birth, they're just these little blank slates.
I know.
And There's little like mold of clay, and they hand it
Yeah.
to us, and they're like, okay, it's your responsibility to mold them into the full, whole, healthy human beings that
Yep.
they are capable of being.
Yep.
And the thought of that is scary, like, especially if you didn't learn all the things growing up. Maybe you didn't see it in the environment
Yeah.
you grew up with. Maybe your parents, they didn't know what they didn't know, right?
Yeah.
And so you don't have those tools if you weren't shown or shared,
Correct.
if no one ever shared those tools with you. So now you're just working with whatever tools
Yeah.
they shared with you along the way, and you think that that's it until you look around and you realize, wait a minute, maybe it's better if I have that tool. That person has a different tool than I do. I wonder what
Yeah.
that does. So
Yep.
now you're looking into that. And sometimes the grass is not always greener. Like they say, sometimes what they're doing and how they're doing it isn't necessarily better, but
Yeah.
it's always great to keep an open mind.
I agree. I was just gonna
And
say that. I think
yeah,
the fact that as a parent, if you're even looking for extra tools,
yes,
makes you a pretty decent parent
yes,
instead of being like, no, I use the hammer and that's
yes,
all I use and that's all I need. You know what I mean? Like
yes,
we're actually looking for the
yeah,
tools. So
yeah. I
that's a
know.
really, really, really excellent
Yes,
analogy. And I feel like when we begin to try to push through that discomfort,
yeah,
whether it's personal, professional, whichever,
yeah,
that like once we see signs that like, oh,
yeah,
it's okay, then that's where we start developing trust, right?
yes,
Trust in ourselves, trust
yeah,
in like for me it'd be like with my son, for you, trust that you start exposing yourself more to the pediatric population,
yes,
then you'll begin to form your expertise and form that
yes,
level of comfort to be like, you know what? I trust that this is the right path that I
yes.
chose. Or maybe
Mm,
it could be a completely different area within psych. And then you'll say, that's okay. I trust that I thought that that was it and that it's going to be something else. So,
yes,
pushing I feel like pushing past that discomfort and being like, "Oh God,"
yes, yes.
where
I
that
know.
trust,
100%.
right? That trust.
I had a conversation with a psychiatrist today. I shared a story that I had heard from a motivational speaker, and I think we discussed this before, but he had mentioned how if you were to have the seed that is meant to grow into an apple tree, and you put it on the windowsill, and you pour water on it every day, and the sun hits it every day all day long during the daytime, and you do that for years, it will never grow into
Nope.
the beautiful apple tree that it's meant to grow into. It's not
Yeah.
until you remove it from the windowsill and
Yeah.
place
Put
it
it in
in the
some soil.
environment where it's meant to
Yes.
grow,
That
that it
part.
will grow. Right. And it's so,
Woo!
and that's the case.
Girl.
Right. I got
What do
chills.
the kids do? They be like, "Hey,
No,
Kim."
I did that
Or
with
is it
my
like
daughter,
this?
and she's
Or
like,
like,
"Mom, are you being a crab? Like it's this? Like
oh,
what are
it's
you
this,
doing?"
not like
I did
Pac-Man.
the same
Oops.
thing.
I
She
can't. It
thought it
doesn't
was
look right.
hysterical. I was like a whole crab, like.
But girl, you're so right. It's so
Yes,
true. You gotta
yes.
move. You gotta
So
move.
yeah, like with your son, with my son, like we see them. Your son, my daughter. My son is 28 now, but with him too, like
Yeah.
and we take the clay and we've molded it, and we've used our experiences in life and our childhood and through the years and what
Yep.
worked and what didn't, and oh,
Yep.
let's put this tool in his box and let's take that one out because that one
Yep.
is not
That
really
wasn't
effective,
working.
and then we keep molding and we keep perfecting and we keep, and before you know it, you look at your child and you're like, wow, they really have it
I
together.
know.
He did a good
Yes.
job, like good. Right. Like they're confident, they're strong, their perspective on life is on point. They've grown in ways that you can't even imagine in such a short amount of time. And and we had a lot to do with that, the environment that they were placed in, right?
Yeah. Yeah. I fully
Um,
definitely agree with that for
yeah,
sure. Yeah.
yeah, yeah,
So
yeah,
like if you had to tell everyone that's listening that, maybe they're going through a moment of progression, but within that progression, there's some transitioning that's happening, right? Or some changes, some growth, and that it may feel a little bit uncomfortable. If you have, I mean, you've dropped some wonderful gems, but if there was like one takeaway, like one thing you would want them to know.
In with regards to what moving
Like,
forward in
yeah, moving forward through change, transition, that might feel a little.
hmm, I would say, and please share your thoughts on the same topic, but I would say that for me, it was trusting in my abilities, and no longer doubting
Yeah.
what I am capable of doing in this lifetime. We have one
Yeah.
life to
I
live,
know.
one.
That's
And
mind-boggling.
I spent so many years being afraid of the what ifs,
Yeah.
afraid of what I saw when I looked down, or what my mind was thinking I
Yeah.
was seeing,
Yeah.
that may not even have been there, and all the doubts and all the fears, and sharing with people that may have, they think they have your best interests at heart. Maybe they do, but they don't always share information or words of wisdom that are actually, and anything that you should be listening to or using to guide you in any way, because
Yeah.
your path is your path and their path is their path.
That part.
Yes.
That
So
part.
just like keeping it hush between you, him, and maybe the closest person to you who you trust with your heart. Not
Yeah.
to say that some of these people that share these words of wisdom are trying to harm you. That's not necessarily the case. But again, it's not their path. So, and it's not even their vision. So they may not
Yes.
even
So they
see
can't
it
that
on the
too.
level that
Like,
you
what are you
do.
doing?
Yes.
And it doesn't help, right? Because sometimes if especially when you have those moments where you're like, well, what am I doing? And then someone comes along like, well, what are
Yes.
you doing? And it's not right. You're
Yes.
100% right.
And just pushing through those
Yeah.
fears and
Yeah.
giving yourself a
Man.
chance to grow, a chance to experience, and even the opportunity to mess up a little
Yep.
bit, and then use that experience as a learning experience. Now you have an extra tool in your
Yep.
toolbox to make different decisions next
Yeah.
time. Um, and it just, and just being genuine to who you
Yeah.
are, and showing up in a genuine way, and coming from a place again where you're allowing him to lead.
Yeah.
I know for a long time I had no idea where I should go, what I should do. Every
Mhm.
idea was a great idea. The ideas were pouring in
Yeah.
to my head, and I was like, which way do I go? I don't even know what I should be doing. Is there a purpose for me? What is that purpose? So confused
Yeah.
all the time, trying to figure it out on my own. And finally I just silenced myself,
And here you
and I
are.
asked him, listen, I obviously don't know what I'm doing. Please help me, guide me, show me, give me the wisdom that I need, the understanding, eyes to see, ears to hear what it is that I need to see, hear, and understand, so that I know which way to
Yeah.
go and what path to take and what you want me to do in this life to help other people in the biggest way and the greatest way that I can. And that's what he
Yeah.
did. And that's where I am.
Today.
And I just gave myself the opportunity
Yes.
to trust, right?
Yeah.
To trust in him and to trust in my
Yeah.
abilities. But what would you have to say about that?
Basically everything that you've said, I completely resonate. And one of the key things is the trust aspect.
Yeah.
But beginning with having a relationship with God to be able to clear the noise, filter out everything, so that you can be able to hear what he has to say that can confirm what it
Mm,
is that you desire.
mm,
Because, like you said, oftentimes there's so many ideas, and not every idea is a great idea. Or
mm,
sometimes the ideas we have is not for now, it might be for tomorrow, it might be weeks or
mm,
years later,
mm.
but everything may
That's
be
good.
coming in at once, right? And
Yes.
then finding your people, the community is everything. So in
Oof.
those moments of frustration and doubt where I'm just like, why am I doing this? Why am I stressing
Oof.
out? That you need to have that one person or people
Mm,
that are, like you
mm,
said, your people that can step in those moments and they say, "Hey girl, cut it out. You know better than that. Just go take a nap or just go to bed or just, go watch Bridgerton for an hour." Like seriously, but someone that can
Yes.
check you and tell you, and if you
Yes.
have more than one person in your life like that, even better.
Oof.
But if you
You're
have at least
winning.
one, you're still winning.
Yeah.
So find your
Yeah.
people because the discomfort is real and it comes through, and the
Mhm.
discomfort is a part of growth. When you're growing,
Yeah.
sometimes things don't fit anymore like they used to. That comes in
No.
many ways, from people to
Yes.
places to
Yes.
things to workplaces, all the above. So, yeah, having that trust, and establishing a community of one person or a bunch of or a few people that can push you in
Yeah.
those times, those hard times. That's
Yeah.
it. So,
Thank you for
once
sharing.
again, we're going to aim for a month from now. That's
Mhm.
our goal. And so I hope that everyone will tune in and watch this, and that they will at least be able to take away one thing from this podcast. And if you have an opportunity, please go back and look at episode 1 so you can find out
Mhm.
who I am, Darlene, and who Leslie is, and how we came about. I appreciate
Mhm.
everyone for our support.
Thank you,
Thank you,
Darlene.
Leslie. Hold on, 'cause I'm talking to you behind the scenes. Bye, everybody.
Okay. Bye.